The regular viewers may remember I had been thinking about buying another Scout. This is the story of going up and recovering that Scout. We got up super early on a Saturday morning last weekend and drove out to basically the field where this thing sat. Me and my three friends, Brian, Bennett, and David. We all got together and made a plan, basically trying to figure out, okay, is this thing movable? How does the ground look? Are we going to be able to do this without getting any of our trucks stuck? Brian brought his new aluminum trailer up. He was really excited to get it to use it for this kind of thing. So he drove it up, and within about, I would say, 10 minutes, we had it backed up to the Scout and ready to load, which was super easy. Both Brian and Bennett are pros at driving trucks with trailers and backing them into stuff and everything, so this was super easy for him. One of the things that we had to do was get this truck off of 2 flat tires. It was on 4, but 2 of them were completely flat, and I had no expectation that the 2 flat ones were going to hold any sort of air, so I busted out the high lift jack and we got started jacking it up and getting the lug nuts off. Something interesting that I found out the hard way was that the lug nuts on the driver's side of this truck are reverse thread. I was expecting that on my Travelall, and that is the case in the Travelall, but I wasn't expecting that on this truck. And even Bennett said he had not seen that on a Scout of this age before. This is a 67 as far as we can tell, and he wasn't expecting that. But after I figured that out, the lug nuts came off super easy, and we had brought actually 3 full-size aired up spares with us, so we were prepared for any emergency, and within about 20 minutes we had those on the truck. I was having problems with my high lift. It'll go up, but the reverse mechanism is being problematic, so I've got to figure out what's going on with that. Once we had the wheels on the truck and it was out of gear, then we just put all the straps on it and got it prepped for basically hauling it up onto the trailer. You can see there over in the corner, basically what we had to do is knock the truck off of the jack to get it to go back down. Not really the recommended way.
Yeah, you're kind
of... we're professionals, don't try this crap at home.
There's nothing...
As I said before, Brian was really excited to use his trailer. This is the first time he's used his trailer for anything, so he had bought all kinds of new straps and recovery gear for that, with the hopes of doing this more often in the future for other projects for himself and his group of friends like me. Didn't take us too long to get the straps on, just basically trying to figure out where to put them and what they come up to.
Alright, so we are out of gear now. Wrap it around. You feel the movement, actually.
Gravity's going to take over after a little bit. We'll have to get the chocks.
And it is out of gear now, so it's pretty cool.
Press the button! Daddy, can I...
Oh, button! Oh. I got it.
Once all the straps were in place, then it was just a matter of hooking up the winch.
Ready?
I jumped in the truck and steered it onto the ramps, and
Bill, you
we
ready?
just pulled it up onto the trailer. It went super easy. It's really going good. This truck has been sitting for probably more than 12 minutes. None of the brakes were stopped, which was super surprising. All the wheels were free. The transmission was free. It was right on the trailer. Couldn't have been better. I think the last time that we were trying to do that,
Good.
really not that bad. And I would say that probably 15 minutes of that was us just dicking around, eating donuts and making jokes.
I wasn't prepared for the slack to go out of it. All right, hang on a second. You good?
I think so.
Are we going to be in a situation here where
Yeah,
we're
let's
gonna...
back it out a bit and then we'll pull this back out.
You guys broke it. What the hell, man?
Let me get it actually around there. It'll be easier.
Ready? Oh yeah, take it out of your That's a nice trailer, Brian. It's a real nice trailer. Yeah.
Now we gotta get into the I ain't going nowhere state.
Yeah, so my trick, I don't know how you do it.
I've never done it, so
Oh,
We are here to learn from the master.
I have
I
those.
tie down the back first,
Uh-huh.
pull it tight with the winch, and then put a strap in front, and leave the winch hooked on.
Got these wheel straps.
around the
Oh, go around the wheels. I would put if we have like a big 10,000 pounder. Oh, yours is bigger. I see. I get it.
Mine's bigger.
Yeah. You got something like this.
And then from here, it was just a matter of strapping it down. We did the 4-strap method with the winch hook on there as well. When we were done, by the time we got done, this thing was not going anywhere. Brian had bought some really nice gear for this trailer, so we were all pretty pleased about that. And then we gotten back and strapped down all the stuff, all the tires and doors and everything in the back of the truck. I think we may have lost David.
Okay.
Yeah. Throw the junk back in the pile. I would say that probably the hardest part was hauling this half cab out from behind the garage through a giant field full of brambles and getting it into the back of Brian's truck. Getting it into the truck was easy, but the brambles, that was the difficult part. It's pretty light, but it's just bulky. Once we got into the truck, it was super easy to just tuck it under his rear tonneau cover and strap it down, and that was that. I brought my drone along to shoot some cinematic shots of where we were and what we were doing, and proceeded to drive it into a tree and break one of the legs. Up and back, away from the other trucks that had been pulled out to the front part, is this old Travelall. This one isn't really worth much of anything other than scrap value at this point. It's pretty far gone inside and out. But it did have a international visor, an original equipment visor that Bennett really wanted for Phantom, his pickup truck. So we spent some time trying to get this thing off. As with everything else out there in the field, it's all been sitting for so long that the bolts have all basically welded to the metal. So it took us all manner of heat and chemicals and hammers and saws and crap to get the thing off. The actual visor itself came off relatively easily, but the mounts and everything were really stuck on the truck, and that took a bit more time to get off.
I like you.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Sweet.
All right, that's half the
You need the
battle.
brackets?
Yeah.
Now you tell us. Now come in.
Not sure how these brackets. It's always one. Only takes one. I'm gonna get those BFH and see if I can just drive them out.
And as you can see here, Bennett is not only fighting the truck, but he's fighting all the brambles that it's sitting in. I don't remember if this one is sitting in the exact same spot. I think this one got pulled out, but it got pulled out from a pile of brambles into another pile of brambles. So it didn't make it for easy removal. And as you can see, the BFG was used. I think Brian was probably putting all of his weight trying to get the middle support off of the truck.
This one, there's not enough bite on it.
And then one last thing that Ben had wanted to grab was the hood ornament off of this truck. Apparently it's pretty rare. There weren't a whole lot of them made, probably not a lot of them left. This one has a big dent in the middle, but he was really interested in trying to save it. This truck does not have an engine, doesn't have a transmission. Like I said, there's really not much on this thing worth saving. So we pulled off what we could that we thought was going to be worth value.
Not that are easily doodads here.
Because it was a couple days before Christmas, Brian had brought us some gifts.
This is my logo.
It's your logo, okay.
I had extra long sleeve tee.
Ah, there you go. That's new.
This is Bennett's company. I will put a link to his site up in the comments and up above. And then Brian had also made me a t-shirt with a logo that I had designed for myself as well, which actually turned out really, really cool. I'm really happy with it.
There's my new company logo.
I love it.
Oh, nice.
Sweet. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
That turned out really well.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then it was time to head out. We strapped the truck down, made sure everything was good, and pulled it out. Came out of the field really pretty easy. These trucks that you see that we're passing by are all bought already, and they are being hauled off one by one. I'm hoping to get the roll bar for that Blue Scout there. I think we hit the road at probably the right time too, because the sun had come out, it was warming up a little bit, and we were all afraid that the field was going to turn into mush. It had rained a couple of days before we were out there. We got out there early by design so that the ground would still be relatively frozen. We decided to stop and do a strap check before we got on the main road out of there and before we got onto the highway back to my house. So and I'm glad we did. Everything had loosened up just a little bit from the bouncing and everything, but overall everything looked good, so we got back on the road.
As long as you're happy with it,
Good,
you're the
yeah.
one telling it.
Yep. Sign this my opinion.
Out on the highway, we followed Brian out, and it was pretty funny to watch the people pull up alongside of him and pull out their phones and take pictures. I saw at least 3 different people sort of waving and nodding and shooting pictures as they passed by. That was pretty funny.
We now return to battling seizure robots.
Back at my house, we used my neighbor's driveway to basically pull straight into my backyard. My lot is narrow and long, and there's no really good way to get a trailer around my house on my lawn to get to the backside. So we had asked him ahead of time. He was cool enough to move his car. We pulled it straight back so we could tuck it in between my garage and my greenhouse. Brian did a great job of navigating between the oak tree and my greenhouse there. There's just enough room to get a truck through there. I've had my Scout 2 back here to help pull the fence upright, so I knew it could be done. It was just a matter of getting the trailer lined up correctly.
All right, you're good. That sounds like a button issue.
Come on, Harbor Freight.
And then from here, like I said, it was easy. We just used gravity and the winch to basically help us get it down. The winch controller was being a bit of a jerk. It wanted to pull cable in, but didn't want to let the cable out at all. So we had to fight with the hand controller to get that done. But Brian had lined the trailer up just exactly right to get the thing tucked in between the two buildings, and that worked out really well.
Slide this out.
We can't quite get this one yet. You gotta go another foot or so.
It'll snap in when it gets on. Okay. If the button will do.
Come on, Fonzie.
All right, hold. Wait. All right.
Kick the tail out too.
Well, it's not. Then it's one. Do you want it more like?
Yeah, no, actually, right there would be good. Yeah.
All right.
Good?
Yep. Good. Oh. Other way.
So you taking this home with you, or? There we go.
Whoa.
And then at this point, it just took the 3 or 4 of us to basically pull and push it down off the trailer, and it just rolled off by itself. We just had to get it up over the hump of the ramps on Brian's trailer. And once it did that, it slid right off.
Nice. Touchdown.
Yep. Do you want to roll it back anymore?
Yeah. Try to get it back as far as we can, so it's not.
Get it back, at least if we get it back to this root that in front of those probably won't be.
Yeah.
We wanted pushing it back a little bit further so it's not out in the yard as much. And then finally, we pulled the cab top off of Brian's truck and put it on this truck just so that it would protect as much as possible from the rain and everything. This thing has been without a top again for probably 20 years. I'll show you in later videos what the rear bed looks like, but it's nice to have a cab top on it again.
Oh, look at that.
I'm gonna fix that.
Yeah. I'll get that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get that too.
You might need a rubber.
Yeah. It's middle of time.
Oh, that went surprisingly well.
Guys, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So the following day, I went out and started the long process of waking this engine back up. The first thing to do was to pull the plugs and dump a bunch of Marvel Mystery Oil down into the cylinders and pre-lube those to get them up and running. I also wanted to see what the plugs looked like, what the oil situation was, and just go over the engine to see what I was up against. This engine bay, as you might imagine, is absolutely filthy. I I didn't find a gigantic rat's nest in it or anything like that in some of the other videos that you may have seen on YouTube, but there is a healthy dose or a healthy layer of nuts and dirt and mud dauber nests and grime and grease and other stuff on this engine. So I am going to have to get this thing completely power washed when the weather warms up. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to that across the entire truck, actually. The funny thing is that the paint on this thing is in such a state that I think when I do power wash it, I'm probably going to blow about half the paint off this truck, as well as about 30 pounds of dirt and grime. So that'll be an interesting video to film. I was finding that the plugs were a bit hard to get out. They were really in there. I was afraid that they had all rusted in there and that I was going to find cylinders full of water. I haven't put a borescope down this thing yet to look down into the cylinders. And when I pulled the plugs out, there was no rust. It just was, they were just caked with dirt and disgusting. As I said before, all the plugs were filthy. Here you can see what I was up against. They're all carbonized pretty good, so this thing was running rich when it was parked. All right, we've got Marvel Mystery down all the cylinders. You know where all the plugs go. So we're gonna let this sit and marinate for a day, and then I'll throw some more in, and we'll just keep marinating until we're ready to run this thing over. The other thing I gotta do before I pack up today, this is a quick day, is to look at the carb. I'm gonna pop the carb off, get it cleaned up. So this is an old school oil bath air cleaner, the little buddy of the big one that I had on the Travelall. And this is a Holley 1904 carb, single barrel carburetor. Pretty reliable, pretty easy to rebuild. This one, basically, like I said, was parked with a bunch of gas in it, so it's full of crud. I'll show you some pictures in a minute. But super easy to take off, super easy to service. So here's the state of things. This is the carb out of the 800. It is pretty gnarly. I've just pulled everything off. I mean, it all looks like it's in pretty decent shape in here. It's crusty, you know, it had gas in it and everything. So I'm going to dunk it in my carb cleaner here and see if I can get it to clean up, and then get a rebuild kit for it and see if I can get it to work. Side, this thing is pretty grotty in here. I don't know if you can see the all of the stuff that's sitting at the bottom of this bowl. It goes all the way through. It's really disgusting. Down in the accelerator pump hole here, it's really nasty. This whole section here, I'm gonna have to figure out hopefully how I can get this crown off, because the butterfly inside and the whole venturi in here is just filthy with stuff. And this is actually the clean part. The float is in really good shape. Looks like the needle is in really good shape here. All of this stuff is working fine. It's just, there was a bunch of gas in here and it just sat and sat and sat. Looking at the bottom half, this thing, I'm going to have to put this into the sandblaster and get some really nice gentle glass bead and blow this thing all apart, and get all the gunk off of this, because it's just really pretty disgusting. Looks like somebody welded this arm back on, which is interesting. There's a little bit of play in here, but when it's closed, it's not too bad. I don't think it's going to be, it's not going to stop us from doing anything. So that's going to do it for this week's video. Thanks for watching. As always, I've got merch for sale. Anything you buy there goes right back into these trucks. And if this thing is any indication, I'm going to need all the help and money that I can get. So I do appreciate you taking a look and buying anything you see there. I will see you in a week or two with the next video, where I'll go over where this thing stands and what its current condition is. Thanks for watching.